And this is from Asad Ali, who is in Pakistan. And even though he is obviously very busy, he takes time to actually let us know. He says, I'm in a mountainous region of Pakistan on the COVID-19 vaccination surveillance and monitoring mission. And he has the kindness to let us know when he will be back. That is how committed he is to contributing to the global movement, even as he continues to do his daily work. And this is from Afghanistan. And Syed writes and says, very simply, only one line. We asked him if he was ready to join and to contribute and to begin the activities of the full learning cycle. And you can see his response here. It is just one line, but it is quite eloquent. From an immunization professional and a doctor, he says, yes, I am ready to rock. Now, what do we actually do in this full learning cycle, and how could this be helpful to you and others who are leading the change needed to have adult immunization recognized and integrated into existing immunization programs in India and elsewhere? First example of the first component, what we started with on March the 7th, was the ideas engine. And what this is across these seven strategic priorities of Immunization Agenda 2030. You can see there's one here, SP4. This is the one that every one of you can contribute to, and also go and look at the ideas and practices that are being shared from participants across the world. It is as simple as clicking a button. And in the first 10 days of the movement, 764 ideas and practices were submitted from 62 countries. And this came from 671 scholars, practitioners who shared these, including a small but significant number of ideas focused on SP4, on life course and integration. Now, again, the ideas and practices by country, you can see the list here, which countries contributed more. And I'm proud to say and report that India shared 27 ideas and practices, 3.5% of the total. Now, before I go any further, this idea, yes, and this is a quote from a participant. I encourage you the Ideas Engine is open to all members of the Movement for Immunization Agenda 2030. It is a public good that we offer the structure, but it is being filled by practitioners from all over the world. So if you want to see what is being done, what are the practices, what are the ideas in other parts of the world, that is what is offered through the Ideas Engine. I'd like to mention another initiative that is now part of this movement for Immunization Agenda 2030, and that is Teach to Reach. For the first time on the 17th of June, we're going to be opening up Teach to Reach, which historically was a networking event reserved for immunization professionals. And for the first time, professionals from other areas of health are going to be welcome to join. This makes it relevant because life course and integration requires a more integrated approach. We cannot continue to work in silos. And just to give you an indication of the scale on which these networking events, this Teach to Reach happens, the last Teach to Reach on 4th of March saw more than 8,500 immunization professionals from all over the world connect and support and meet and learn together. Now, what's the point? What's the value of this and other activities in the Movement for Immunization Agenda 2030? You can see one quote here. I had the privilege to interact with very highly qualified, internationally recognized health professionals. It's like an opportunity to dine with the creme de la creme of global health. And the second quote from someone who is probably closer to the ground and works in a rural area and who's been wrestling with vaccine hesitancy, and who says, after Teach to Reach Connect, I have evidence to convince any resistant people. This event was amazing to me. Of course, if you work in public health, you're asking, well, okay, what's the impact of this? Where's the evidence that this is actually making a difference? We can spend time talking to each other, connecting with each other, but So what? And so on the so what, we're using an evidence-based scale tracking, not only tracking, taking the temperature of what is happening throughout the movement with people, individuals reporting to each other and to us what difference it's making in terms of a gain in confidence. If you're going to go advocate that adult immunization needs to be a focus of your immunization program, you need to have the confidence to do it. If you are going to consider changing how the existing system that is entirely focused on children needs to expand to teenage girls, to adults at different points in the life course. You're going to need motivation, and you can of course rely on the ideas of colleagues who are right there, your immediate colleagues, and of course they're the ones you work with every day. They're very important. But this idea of a global support system, imagine if all of a sudden you can benefit from the inputs, the ideas, the practices of thousands of other fellow immunization professionals from all over the world. That is the power of this approach and the potential of this movement. After participating, I thought I need to find out more technical details about my country's program. So this is someone working in the health facility who all of a sudden, rather than waiting to be told, do this, do that, may go look at the country's program, see that adult immunization is already part of the story, and say, how come we're not doing it? So imagine that kind of local initiative. If all of a sudden people at every level of the health system are speaking to each other, connected to each other. And this is not a dream. This is what we're doing every day in the movement. And this is what we have done since the COVID-19 pandemic came and we created what we call the COVID-19 Peer Hub. So again, to finish, this is about the need for change and recognizing that leading change in a globalized, hyper-connected world cannot happen in isolation. We simply cannot continue to do things, learn things, and lead change in the ways that we have before. Last but not least, you can see the QR code here. If you'd like to experience this is again a testimonial from a participant. Every Monday we have an assembly. You do have to apply to join the movement. It is actually closed, but I'd like to, on an exceptional basis, we'd be honored to have members of the World Congress join us. It is every Monday, so the next one is actually happening tomorrow it is quite late Indian time because it is 5 p.m. Geneva, so I believe that would be 8:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Thank you very much. I think I apologize if I have been over time. I hope that Dr. Mitra will forgive me for that. And others.
Thank you, Dr. Reda. Thank you, Dr. Reda Satke. So we have learned so much today, and the immunization agenda 2030 for integrated approach, so that we hope in future we will work together more, so that the adult immunization, the overall immunization, will be able to show a new hope. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to hand over to Dr. Devdatta.
Thank you, Dr. Reda. It was a lovely session, a very informative one and an elaborate one as well. Got a chance to learn a lot from the session. Thank you, Dr. Shatabdi Mitra, for sharing the session. Now I would like to proceed on to the next session. That is by Dr. Reena Ghosh. It is on need for adult immunization. And the session will be chaired by Dr. Tanuraj Sirohi. And Dr. Sirohi, he's already here. He's an intensivist and internist at Meerut, and he's also a professor of medicine at Shuvarti Medical College. He's an instructor for ACLS, BLS, FCCS courses, and director of Hope Hospital, and he is the president of IACCM Meerut branch. Dr. Sirohi, I would like to welcome you to chair the session for Dr. Reena Ghosh.
Thank you, Dr. Devdatta. It is a pleasure and honor both for me to be the part of the World Congress on adult immunization. I am really thankful from bottom of my heart to Dr. Kohli, who has given me the opportunity, and it is a great occasion to introduce ma'am of such a great stature. She will be talking on need for adult immunization. Dr. Reena Ghosh is from Calcutta. She is consultant pediatrician attached to the Institute of Child Health, Calcutta, and she's in charge of immunization of the said hospital. She is trained in advanced vaccinology. She has many publications, both national and international. To her credit, she is one of the investigators in multicentric clinical trials on vaccines such as rotaviruses, measles, rubella, typhoid, hepatitis A, H1N1 influenza, pentavalent, hexavalent, etc. Immunization chapter contributed by her in medical textbook known as Handbook of Medical Practice. She is member of West Bengal Calcutta district event following immunizations, very important part of immunization. She has been invited as speaker and chairpersons in many conferences and workshops. Just mentioning a few of them, she has participated as a faculty in international workshop on opportunities and challenges for the new vaccines and organized by the International Vaccines Access Center, IBAC of Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. This is a great achievement. I must compliment her. The other, just to mention, is conducted pre-conference CME National Conference IAPS MCOM in 2017. Newer vaccine and vaccines update held in the Science City of Calcutta. Over to Dr. Reena ma'am for her presentation.
Thank you, respected Chairperson, Dr. Tunraj Shirohi, for introducing me. Good evening, everybody. This is my privilege to receive the invitation from organizers of Indian Society of Adult Immunization to share my views on need of adult immunization. Although immunization has become a centerpiece of routine pediatric medical visits, it has not yet been well integrated into routine healthcare visits for adults. In fact, adult immunization is in its infancy, not only in India, but even in the most developed countries of the world. Only after Corona pandemic hit in 2020, now people has become somewhat aware of the adult immunization. I will start with the famous quote of William Fudge's, that is, vaccines are tugboats of preventive health. William Fudge's was a great epidemiologist and formulated the design for smallpox eradication. He is one of the great epidemiologists.